On a stormy night, tired single father Jordan Reyes is called to fix the laptop of Vivian Cross, the powerful and unreachable CEO of Silverline Dynamics. He expects a quick repair, nothing more. But when the damaged laptop accidentally opens a folder of Vivian's personal photos, everything changes. The rain didn't fall so much as crash down, uneven and relentless. On the night when Jordan Reyes's life quietly shifted direction, though he had no idea, it found him standing under a dying street lamp outside the massive glass tower of Silverline Dynamics. Water slid from his faded jacket, and fatigue clung to him like a shadow he couldn't shake. He was a single parent carrying the weight of every bill, every school run, every late-night repair call. He worked until dawn some nights, fixing phones, laptops, or anything with wires, then rushed home to wake his daughter before school. But this particular job, this one call, was about to pull him into a life he never imagined. One where a simple error, an unexpected picture, and a single question would stir something inside him that had been quiet for years. And if you're someone who believes in gentle moments, second chances, and how small decisions can change an entire story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell us where you're watching from, it truly keeps us going. Jordan pushed through the front door and stepped into the near-empty lobby. Soft hallway lights glowed low, and somewhere deeper in the building, servers hummed steadily like distant machinery breathing. He'd been asked to repair the personal laptop of Vivian Cross, the famously unreachable CEO of Silverline. People spoke about her the same way they described powerful weather: stunning, forceful, and impossible to predict. Jordan had never seen her in person. His work usually kept him tucked in storage rooms or behind server racks, far away from the executives who made choices that shaped the company's future. But tonight, her assistant had called urgently. The laptop needed to be working before sunrise. As he rode the elevator upward, he silently begged time to slow down. He couldn't afford to be late picking up his daughter, Emma, from the neighbor again. She was only 7, and every time he showed up late, she masked her disappointment with 2 brave smiles. It tore at him. Life kept demanding that he choose between providing for her and being there for her. When the elevator finally opened on the top floor, he stepped into a quiet world of soft carpet and still air. Vivian's office door sat slightly open. He tapped once and eased it wider. She wasn't there. Only the faint trace of her perfume remained, a mix of cool citrus and something light, almost calming. Jordan set down his tools beside her slim black laptop and pressed the power button, unaware that what he found next would begin a story he never planned to enter. The laptop flickered, hesitated, and crashed with an error he recognized immediately. Jordan knew he could repair it. But as he sifted through damaged directories, trying to rescue the system, a folder unexpectedly opened by itself. It wasn't work-related. It was personal, and filled with photographs. Before he could close it, the images appeared on the screen. There was Vivian on a shoreline, laughing with her hair pushed wildly by the wind. Another showed her makeup-free, tucked beside a window with a steaming cup in her hands. In one more, she stood with an older woman who looked like her. Same eyes, same smile, both of them glowing with a warmth he had never seen in her boardroom presence. Jordan froze. His hand hovered over the trackpad, trying to exit the window, when the soft sound of the office door opening pulled him back sharply. Vivian stepped inside. Drops of rain dotted her coat from the storm outside, and her eyes moved instantly from him to the glowing screen. Jordan's breath caught. She didn't look furious. She didn't even look surprised. She looked vulnerable. She approached slowly, almost as if she were walking toward a truth she wasn't sure she was ready to face. Her gaze lingered on the photos, then shifted to Jordan, who struggled to steady his shaking hands. When she finally spoke, her voice was a quiet thread, carried by something unguarded beneath it. She asked him whether he thought she looked nice in those pictures. The question stunned him, not because of the words themselves, but because of the tremor behind them. There was fear in her tone, uncertainty, a softness that no one in the company would ever imagine she possessed. He could have dodged the question. He could have offered a safe response. But honesty was the one thing Jordan never learned to compromise, even when truth cost him more than silence ever did. For a moment, he didn't know how long they stood there. Only that something shifted gently but irreversibly between them, something like two lonely people brushing shoulders in the dark without meaning to. After that night, their paths kept crossing. Vivian began reaching out to him for minor computer issues, things Jordan knew she could have requested any technician to handle. Over time, he realized she wasn't asking for help. She was asking for company, for conversation, for someone who didn't see her as a symbol of power but as a person quietly carrying the weight of a whole world. Jordan slowly opened up too. He talked about Mia, about rebuilding their lives after losing his wife to a sickness they couldn't afford to fight, about the exhausted rhythm of single parenthood. And Vivian listened. Truly listened. He noticed how loneliness tucked itself behind her polished exterior, how she hid years of old hurt and grown-up regret beneath the surface. She told him people feared her title so much they forgot she needed connection like anyone else. She admitted she hadn't asked anyone what they thought of her, not really, since she was young enough to care about the answer. Their conversations stretched longer. Their defenses grew thinner. And Jordan, who had sworn he would never let his heart drift again, felt something new and fragile unfolding inside him. But life rarely stays simple. One evening, he arrived later than usual, worn down from balancing work and home. Vivian looked different that night. Her posture was tight, her expression dimmed, tension darkening her usually composed face. She told him she would soon be stepping away from the company. Not by choice. For personal reasons she wasn't ready to reveal. Rumors were spreading. Pressure was building. And she didn't know who she could trust as the corporate storm around her grew worse. Jordan recognized the fear in her eyes. It was the same fear he'd carried for years. Fear of loss, of uncertainty, of being alone with too much to handle. Her voice trembled when she said she shouldn't have let him get close, that maybe she was pulling him into chaos he didn't deserve. Something in Jordan cracked open then, something he'd kept locked away since the day he lost his wife. He realized Vivian mattered to him. Her honesty, her quiet admissions, the rare glimpses of the woman behind the role. He needed those just as much as she needed someone who saw beyond her armor. And when she asked again in a soft, broken tone what he felt when he saw those photos, Jordan finally understood. She wasn't asking if he found her beautiful. She was asking if someone could see her at all. What Vivian had really been asking was whether she was worth noticing, worth understanding. And Jordan answered her, not through speeches, but through the simple way he moved toward her. Through the steadiness in his eyes. Through the choice to stay when most people would have backed away from her vulnerability. From that moment, the connection between them grew, not through dramatic declarations, but through small, meaningful pieces of everyday life. Vivian helping little Mia with her reading. Jordan finding Vivian dozing off on the office sofa after another demanding day. 3 people, bit by bit, forming a family none of them ever expected. But the outside world didn't make their path gentle. Rumors about Vivian's upcoming departure from the company spread like smoke, and the chaos pulled Jordan into the center of a world he never meant to enter. People questioned his presence. Whispers followed him. He worried about losing the delicate joy he had finally discovered. He feared being left behind again. And most of all, he wondered if he was good enough for someone like her. Yet Vivian kept grounding him. She told him he was the first person who had ever truly seen her beyond the title, beyond the image. She trusted him with her doubts, her fears, her plans, her entire heart. And slowly, Jordan began to realize that the stormy night he walked into her office wasn't a coincidence. It was the beginning neither of them knew they needed. As time passed, life didn't unravel, it rebuilt itself. Vivian found her strength again, facing the corporate pressure with a resilience she had forgotten lived inside her. Jordan rediscovered his sense of worth, slowly stitching together a life filled with hope rather than just survival. And Mia, sweet Mia, came to love Vivian deeply, filling the house with laughter that softened every sharp corner of their pasts. Then one evening, when the sun melted into the skyline and wrapped the world in warm gold, Vivian looked at Jordan with a familiar question in her eyes, not clouded by fear now, but by trust. And Jordan understood how far they had traveled together. How 2 wounded hearts, given the right moment, could begin to heal each other in unexpected, beautiful ways. Please subscribe. It helps us more than you can imagine. One tap from you keeps this channel alive and allows us to continue pouring our energy into stories you love. Thank you for being here.